so that's...
Am I in? Here we go. Yes.
We are good. Hopefully everything starts out with us trying to figure out if the audio's right.
Hey, am I on? Douglas,
Bring in the audio guy. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Douglas. We miss you.
We miss you, Douglas. Now everybody's going to be like,
Who's Douglas?
Who's
Douglas? Well, I mean, at least they're asking questions, right?
Yeah. So ask away.
Yeah,
Find out who Douglas is. Maybe one day.
Maybe we'll share the sad news.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to hop in
That
here?
was the worst day ever.
I bet. I'd say, Toby. All right, we're not going to cry. We're not crying on. Okay, here we go.
No crying. Okay.
All right, chapter 2, man. We're here.
Chapter 2.
And hopefully we got some followers, listening in.
Yeah, hopefully. That's 2 days.
I'm going to jump into this one. You want me to jump in? I'm going to jump in. All right,
Knock
cool.
it out.
All right, so chapter 2, I jokingly call this one The Great Escape, and you'll probably understand why pretty soon. But not like The Great Escape like the movie with Steve McQueen, like different Great Escape. Different one. So chapter 2 starts out verses 1 and 2. You got these wise men. Most people think it was the 3 wise men, but that's because there's 3 gifts, but that's not important yet. So they're following a star, trying to figure out where the king is born, because they know their ancient scripture, and they're chasing down the king, right? So they come over, and all this news is running around. It's got Herod pretty upset. So Herod's the king over there, and he's not very happy. Already not happy because something's going on. So from 3 to verse 8? Basically verse 8. He's like calling in like his chief scribes and all these people and talking to them. And
that's 7.
7? Okay.
7, then Herod called for a private meeting with the wise men.
Oh, yeah, and then he gets the wise men in.
Yep.
And that's a pretty good one because he's like, yo, wise men, go find this king, bring him back, or tell me where he is so I can go and worship him.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, he's not going to worship him.
No gifts.
Nope, no gifts.
0 gifts.
But anyway, moving on. So 7 to 11, roughly, these wise men, they find Jesus, not in a manger, because he's grown by now a little bit. He's probably like a toddler, I would say. He's in a house at least.
Yeah, something.
Young-ish.
I mean, he has to be under 2, right?
Has to be under 2.
They decided that it was like 2 and under, we're going to kill him.
Yeah, we're going to kill him. That's jumping ahead.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, no.
Spoilers everywhere.
Yeah, so they go and find him. They worship him. They present him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And then in chapter 12, verse 12, there's another dream. The wise men are like told, hey, don't go back and tell Herod anything. The dude's crazy. Depart out of here and go back to your lands. So they leave. They don't tell Herod anything, which is pretty good of them. Smart move. Of course, Herod's not happy, obviously. You jump to, what is it, probably about 16, 17, 18 in there. And Herod is
16. Herod was furious.
He's pissed off.
Yeah, he's super angry.
So he goes on his killing spree, killing everyone, his family, some of his family. You can probably talk on that one better than I can.
Yeah, we'll hit that up.
And then all the infants 2 years or under, all the male infants, which actually fulfills a prophecy we'll get into later, Jeremiah 31:15.
Yep.
But then here we come verse 19. I keep saying chapter. Verse 19.
It's okay. We're going to get there.
We're going to get to 19 eventually.
It will.
But verse 19, Herod dies. And so Jesus, Mary, and Joseph are in the clear finally. And again, Joseph learns about this in a dream.
Yeah.
So they take off. They start heading back to the land of Israel, feeling pretty good. And then, here's another dream where God speaks to him again and says, you know what? Don't go all the way back. We're going to have you stop over here in Nazareth and take up your house there, basically.
Yeah.
And which fulfills, again, another prophecy from Judges 13:5. But we'll get into that too.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much chapter 2 in a nutshell.
Chapter 2 wrapped up in 3 minutes and 53 seconds.
I mean...
And then
he's born. They run away because they don't want to get killed.
Yeah.
Herod gets angry.
Yeah.
Wise men worship him. They leave. Dreams. We're going back home. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Nazareth.
Okay, the breakdown.
Bam. Let's do it.
Boom. Nailed it. All right. So, few big points about King Herod. So, King Herod is pretty old at this time. He starts getting like super senile, delusional, angry. I mean, you were looking back at the time where these guys were drinking out of like lead cups.
Yeah, that's not good for you.
And such, it's actually terrible for you. So he goes super crazy. Started with divorcing his wife, which was like not a thing, like not a good thing back then. Divorces his wife, finds a new wife. I forget what her name was. Doesn't really matter because she's going to be dead here soon. So a little bit later, kills his wife, some of his boys, some of his children, starts losing his mind, building fortresses around his like area. He was just super scared at like what could happen. Like back then, it didn't take much for a kingdom to fall because it was just like an army and what it would be, a coup away.
Ooh, coup.
Yeah. So because he's basically a big dictatorship, or I think Herod was given this land by the Greeks.
I don't know. That make sense? I have to look into that one.
Yeah, we'll look into it. We'll let you know. Yeah. I'm almost 100% by the Roman Empire.
I trust you.
Roman Empire. Yeah. He was given this land by the Roman Empire. So at any point in time, like, they could be like, skedaddle, and then he would have to leave. So I'm sure, like, when you're a normal person and you're not drinking out of lead cups, you're like, okay, I could probably make this happen. And then all of a sudden you start getting paranoid and start running away. I actually named this jealousy.
I can
like
see that.
My little notes,
Sure.
but I don't, you know what? Now that I think about that, it's like paranoid.
Yeah, it could be that.
It's more paranoid. So that changes the whole question I have. Oh, dang it.
We can come up and we'll get it on the fly.
Yeah, we'll just change it with paranoid.
Yeah.
So just for my notes, I have the wise man follow the star. Show up with King Herod. Herod feels threatened and asks to let them know who he is so he can come worship him. Obviously, he's not. We already talked about that. No gifts. Unlike your nativity scene, the kings came after Jesus. So that's pretty important. I mean, I guess it's not really that important because really he wasn't born on Christmas.
It's just a more realistic view of what it was.
So it's weird because we go from like Christmas, which is like, yay, he's a baby in a manger, and it probably was a cave, but he's a baby in a manger and like doing baby things, and then we've like fast forward like 4 or 5 months, and then he's dead. So it's just the church has a way of like painting different pictures, which is fine, right? Because just like us, we're just trying to get the main points across. So yeah, I think it's cool at this age. This is why I think it's cool, because at this age, like, I'm learning bigger things, bigger pieces of it. It's not like they were all in the manger and the big scene and the shepherd boy comes and these 3 wise men come and the baby just was born. Like these are longer drawn out. Yeah. Now that I understand how far a few miles is and how long it takes me to walk it. And then these guys are like dragging around like big camps, like encampments. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
Like just to get 3 wise men who probably were kings.
Probably kings from Yemen.
From Yemen.
Best guess.
Right. And that was another one that was like in the other Bible study I was listening to, was they were talking about where these kings were actually from. But they were talking like, we're talking distances that you couldn't travel. Like, go on your Google Maps right now and pick your place and then travel across the country and tell me how long it's going to take you walking it.
Just go across the state and let us know that.
Like, with the Appalachian Trail's like, what? Just like 40-some days or something?
The world record's like 40-something, and that's you're running 50 miles a day, though.
Yeah, that's hoofing.
Yeah.
Going pretty quick. Yeah, I don't know why I said 40 days, because like the one thing was like 6 months the dude was ripping it. Anyway. So yeah, that all happens, and then Herod goes crazy. We already talked about that.
Kills all the infant boys.
Kills all the boys, and that's kind of where
it's brutal.
We're not trying to put words in the mouth, but we also see that he like picks 2. Why else would he pick 2? Otherwise, he would just pick like 1 or infants.
Sure.
So he knew there was going to be time involved.
Yeah.
3 kings leave. They don't follow the order. They just go. And they get the heck out of the area, which is cool.
Yeah.
Smart men. Wise men, if you will.
Yeah.
Super wise. So, yeah, I mean, really, if we, now looking at it, because, like, again, I said it was jealousy, but I really do think it's, like, paranoia.
Yeah.
So, like, with today and, like, the listeners and, what, I guess the question would be is, like, what are you paranoid about? And how can you put your faith in God to make that happen? I
mean, I think I can tie that in for you too. So I look at this chapter and what I kind of think of this chapter as promises fulfilled, because there's 5 different Old Testament prophecies that are fulfilled just in this one chapter of Matthew about his birth. So I mean, Jesus is going to fulfill what he said he's going to fulfill, and if you don't believe that,
You mean God?
Jesus,
Well, I mean,
God.
Jesus is, yeah, same.
Same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll get down that road later on, I'm sure.
Later. Oh, the Trinity. That's a tough one. We'll get there. Yes, we'll try.
We're going to go on the mountain, and we're going to see a glowing person.
But I mean,
2 dead guys. Oh, boy.
I mean, it kind of could be paranoid if you don't trust God. You're going to have things that you just are worried about to the point of, But if you trust that God's going to fulfill what he says he's going to fulfill, then because he proves it in his word.
And it kind of ties back into chapter 1, where is faith.
Yeah.
But again, we're human. We're human beings. I don't think there's one person out here who doesn't worry about something. If that wasn't the reason, you wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
Like if you without worry, you just don't have a life. I mean, you wouldn't have drive. You wouldn't be, I worry. It could be the smallest thing. Like I worry about, is there enough money in my bank account today?
Yeah. It's like a balance almost between, we're all human, so we all worry, but then we all have trust and faith that God's going to take care of us. So merging those together to still be,
right.
Good Christians and good men, for us, husbands and fathers and all that. It's a balancing act.
Yeah. And how do you tie that? How do you tie God's promise to what you're worrying about is like the bigger picture of what we're trying to get to today.
I think it's a good question for them to answer for us, actually.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why it's on my notes as question. But it said jealous because I was like, it's kind of jealousy.
We're just flipping the script. No big
deal.
But
I like it. Paranoid. So that's it. That's all we got.
What's next week though? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow is going to be the crazy man in the woods.
Oh, the madman with the message.
Yeah, the madman with the message. So again, hope you guys are enjoying this. We're enjoying doing it. So either way, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You don't have to be happy. I would like you to be happy, but I'm happy about it. So we'll see you tomorrow with John the Baptist, the crazy man in the woods.
It's a good one.
It is a good one. All right. Bye-bye.